Noble and brave, the Squire is always first to enter a fight and the last standing. Charging headfirst into any situation, the Squire relies upon stubborn brute strength and perhaps a little luck to overwhelm his enemies. The Squire's simple defenses embody his brash and bold nature by crushing, poking, skewering, and slicing incoming enemies.
What's up, and welcome to the beginner's guide for the Squire in the new game Dungeon Defenders 2. The Squire is basically your tank character. In my opinion, he has the best wall to start with. So let's go over his towers. Cannonball Tower fires a massive cannonball that deals crushing physical damage to one enemy. It only attacks one enemy at a time. His wall, Spike Blockade, blocks enemies' attacks, dealing physical damage. When struck by melee enemies, draws extra attention from enemies. So when a melee enemy hits it, it actually deals damage back. Ballista fires a piercing projectile that deals physical damage in a line, deals less damage to each enemy hit after the first. So it kind of just diminishing returns there on the damage. The training dummy, when struck, the dummy spins, dealing physical damage to nearby enemies, spins faster with each hit, draws extra attention for enemies. So he technically has two walls, the training dummy and the spike blockade. His abilities are Sword Beam. The Squire unleashes a piercing beam that deals physical damage, deals less damage to each enemy hit after the first. Again, diminishing returns. Provoke. The Squire taunts nearby enemies, drawing their attention. During the taunt, he boosts his hero damage and speed while reducing his damage taken. Seismic Slam. The Squire slams his shield into the ground, dealing crushing physical damage and stunning enemies. So his AoE actually stuns the enemies for a little bit, so good to use that while they're in the middle of taking damage. So let's just check out his abilities here. His R2 is a standard attack. His L2, he actually holds up his shield, and I'm sure mitigates some of the damage he takes, if not all of it. I'm not sure, I don't really use him, but there you go. So L2 blocks, you'll figure it out. His Square, diminishing returns on the characters it hits. Triangle is his Provoke. He taunts nearby enemies and increases his defenses and movement speed. As you can see, he's moving a lot faster. And then his Circle stuns enemies and deals a decent amount of damage. Now his towers. Let's do the Cannonball Tower here. Attack's kind of slow. That deals a decent amount of damage. His wall, these guys will not attack the wall, but it has a decent amount of health on it, and enemies who attack it will get damaged in return, melee enemies. So ranged enemies do not suffer from that. His Ballista does piercing damage, but it attacks super slow, but it does deal decent amount of damage. And it pierces the enemies, but it says it deals reduced damage, and as you can see, it does. First enemy takes 7,800, and the last enemy takes a little over 5,000. No, that one hit 4,700. So there you go, there's that one, and then his training dummy. This acts as a wall as well. It has a decent amount of health too. This one's got just a little bit more, but as you can see, you attack it once, he spins slowly. The more he gets attacked, the faster he attacks. And he just spins and spins and spins. Deals his damage much faster. You can see DPS is 192 to 769. His max health is at 120. His attack damage normally is 250. And his attack range is 450. Spike Blockade, DPS is at a steady 651. Its max health is a bit higher. And its crit damage is 5,000. So the crit damage of this is a little bit better than the dummy, but the dummy puts out more steady DPS. Crit chance to start with is at 10%, so crit damage is not really something to rely on. I've never been one to rely on RNG for DPS. So there you go. That is the Squire in a nutshell. Hopefully you guys have learned something a little bit about the Squire, and we'll have some better Squires out there.